Incoming Democratic Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro announcing that he is tapping Republican Al Schmidt to become Secretary of the Commonwealth, the Secretary of State for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's also the top elections official in Pennsylvania. Schmidt, as you may recall, was a leading opponent of Trump's efforts to disrupt and delay and stop the counting of votes in the 2020 election and his efforts to overturn the election. And Commissioner Schmidt joins me now. Commissioner, first of all, let's start with the reason why I'm talking to you, and you're in the White House on the North Lawn. You received the Presidential Citizens Medal from President Biden for your efforts, your heroic efforts during the aftermath of the 2020 election and the efforts to count the votes of every Philadelphian. You were a strong supporter of John McCain, a strong supporter of Mitt Romney. Is it unusual for yourself to find yourself there with a Democratic president?
Well, I have to say, it's just such an incredible honor, and not just to receive it, but really to know that I'm receiving it as a representative of all the hardworking election officials across our country, Democrats and Republicans in big cities and rural counties, that make sure our democracy functions. When democracy is done right, it's not Democratic and it's not Republican. So for me, it doesn't seem strange at all.
So there's an interesting split screen going on, because while you were literally fighting for the right of my mom's vote to count in the Pennsylvania election in 2020, individuals like Scott Perry, the Republican congressman from a different part of Pennsylvania, was exacting concessions from Kevin McCarthy in order for McCarthy to become Speaker of the House, even though Perry was a big part of the scheme to overturn the election and voted against counting the electoral votes from Pennsylvania. So this fight doesn't seem quite done to me.
Yes, and I think, so many of us, including myself, probably took the strength of our democracy and our republic for granted, and 2020 and January 6th and the events that we've seen since then have really, I think, been a wake-up call for the need for all of us to do our part to strengthen democracy, Democrats and Republicans alike.
You've described receiving death threats and angry messages from Trump supporters for your role in the 2020 election, and yet you are putting yourself back into the position of the person in charge of elections in Pennsylvania. I don't know that it's going to be any less contentious in 2024. Why?
Well, I truly believe in public service and the opportunity to work for Governor-elect Shapiro and to work in that administration and to work on behalf of the voters of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is a real, it's a civic responsibility. So at the end of the day, there really didn't feel like a choice to make. If I can be of service, I want to be of service.
Are you ready for another round of death threats and being targeted by the likes of Donald Trump, who is the only Republican as of right now who has said he's running for election for president in 2024?
Well, at least right now I have the curious luxury of having been through all of that in 2020. And my family obviously did as well. But they're big believers in public service as well and are truly just completely supportive of this effort. Hopefully we won't see any of that in the future, and we have to do everything we can to prevent any opportunities for bad faith actors to undermine the strength of our democracy.
So it's interesting because Josh Shapiro was running against Doug Mastriano, who was present at the January 6th protest. He was an election liar. There was a whole bunch of stuff I could say about him. But one of the big fears was that the governor of Pennsylvania appoints the Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Commonwealth. Thankfully, he didn't win. An election liar didn't win. What did you think when the Democratic governor called you a Republican, the governor-elect Josh Shapiro, called you a Republican and said, do you want to be my Secretary of the Commonwealth?
Well, although we might be registered in different parties, there's nothing during the campaign at all that the governor-elect expressed as part of that campaign. There was no daylight between that perspective on democracy and the needs to improve it and to improve voter access and improve the integrity of the process from my perspective at any point prior to that. So it's a real honor to serve Governor-elect Shapiro.
Have you been sworn in yet?
No, not yet. The incoming governor will be sworn in on the 17th of January.
Okay. I just didn't know if I should say thank you to Commissioner Schmidt or thank you to Secretary Schmidt. I will say thank you to Commissioner Schmidt. I hope your Eagles win this weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you.